Hello and welcome to Sweaty Saturday. I'm Lisa G. I'm glad you're joining me. Today we're going to be doing some abdominals because we haven't really done abdominals for Sweaty Saturday yet. It's going to be awesome. If you happen to have a Pilates sponge ball, this guy right here, one of these guys, this would be awesome to have. You do not have to have it. You can totally do all of this without a sponge ball. The nice thing about the ball is that we're going to be resting our backs, our tailbones on top of this ball. So it adds an element of instability. And when things are unstable, your abs are going to have to work at least twice as hard just to stay on top of the ball. So if you want to make things a little deeper, grab yourself, it doesn't even have to be a Pilates sponge ball. If you've got any kind of ball that's between, I don't know, 9 and 12 inches, that's not fully inflated, any kind like we've got a soccer ball that's not fully deflated. You could totally use that. Any kind of like a rubber kickball that's roughly this size. Totally work. And let's go ahead and get started. I'll show you what we're going to do. This is a lot of fun. I love abs on the ball. What's great is it does not get into any of your upper back and neck. So it takes all that crunching out and gets directly into those lower abdominals. So what we're going to do is we're going to start out here on the ground. Trying to make sure I'm centered in the camera here. All right. So my tailbone's on the floor. My feet are about a hand's distance away from my hips. I'm going to come up into a bridge if you've got that ball, and I'm going to place it right underneath me, bottom of the spine, top of the tailbone, and then I'm just going to relax on top of it. If you don't have the ball, just lay there. It's easy. So you'll notice if you have the ball that you're already like your abs are already firing a little bit. Just stay on top of it. And don't worry, you're not going to pop it. The only time I've ever popped one of these is one that was really, really old and it had been used a lot and it finally just got thin and popped. But if you just bought one, it's not going to pop. You're fine. So what we're going to do is we're going to lift our legs straight up into the air. I'm pointing my toes and gluing my legs together. What I'm going to do, my head, my shoulders, my arms, my hands are going to stay glued to the ground. And I'm going to scoop out these lower abs. I'm pressing my belly button down towards the ball. My hands stay on the ground, and I'm just going to rock it forward and then controlled bring it back. We're just going to do this for a while. That whole time, I'm scooping out my abdominals. I'm pulling them in. We want to train them to be flat. One of the keys with this one is to keep it slow. If I start doing it fast, woo, I'm not really using a lot of my muscles because the momentum is taking over. The momentum is kicking in. If I keep it slow, especially when I return, I'm suddenly working way harder. I'm going to pull it in nice and slow. Toes stay pointed, so we're working the whole back line of the leg as we do this. Pull in those abs. Good. So a couple more. Pull it in. This would be great with music, but YouTube tends to block music, so I'm not adding any music to it. So that way it doesn't get blocked. Then what we're going to do is we're going to bend those knees to 90 degrees. So it's like you're making a table with your legs. This one's really fun. Hollow out those abs. My husband calls this one the Nutcracker. So what we're going to do is we're going to open those legs out. My toes are still pointed, and then I'm going to bring them in. Open them out and bring them in. That whole time, I'm still scooping those abs out, hollowing them out, making room for the Halloween candy, trying to keep this part the same angle in between my calf and my thigh. Good. If you're on the ball, you're totally working extra hard just to stay on your ball. Because as you move those legs, you start to wiggle. Ah. All right, let's do 4. Hollow out those abs. 3. Point the toes. 1, 2. I can count. Don't forget to breathe. And last one. All right, now we're going to add a rock. Another rock. We're going to keep the legs right here. We're going to rock it in and back. In and back. This one works just slightly different than when the legs are all the way up. In and back. My legs are pressed together. I'm keeping this very slow, very controlled, coming all the way back to 90. We often want to cheat and stop about here because that's easy. If you come all the way back to that 90 degrees, you get that last little ounce of work. Good. This really targets those low abs very nicely. So without getting much into your neck or your shoulders, make sure you're trying to keep that neck relaxed, remembering to breathe. Keep it slow, especially when you come back. It's easy to want to just wing. We want to keep it back nice and slow. Okay, give me two more. Beautiful. There's this one. And give me one more. Good. Pull it in for a second. Take a breath. Maybe bend and flex. Roll those feet around. Good. All right. We're going to combine those two exercises. So my toes are pointed, my legs are together. I've got this nice 90-degree angle between my calf and my thigh. I'm going to open and close and crunch and back. All the way to 90. Open and close. Crunch in. All the way back. Make sure you're keeping this nice and slow, pointing those toes. If we can multitask, we want to. We want to work everything that we can so we don't have to do so much extra work. Good. Keep breathing. Hollow out those abs. Don't forget, don't let them bunch up. We want to train them to be flat. This is great because that opening and closing gets into those inner and outer hips a little bit as well. Especially those inner thighs. That's a hard spot to get to for us ladies. Open and close. Pull it in. Give me one more set. One more. Open and close. Crunch it in and back. All right, we're going to do one more. I'm going to pull one leg in and I'm going to go. And I'm going to lengthen out my other leg. Both my toes are pointed. I'm going to start by keeping both my hands on the ground. I'm going to pull it in, straighten that leg out. Pull it in. They're basically bicycles. If you are doing this without the ball, make sure that your leg that extends is not resting on the ground. You want to keep it hovering a little bit, scooping out those abs. If you want to take it up a little bit, one hand pulls the knee in, then the other hand pulls the knee in. One hand pulls the knee in, and then the other hand. If you want to take it up one more notch, take both hands off the ground. Use both hands to pull it in, and both hands to pull it in. This gets a little crazy. If you don't have the ball, this is a piece of cake. If you've got that ball, I don't know if you can see how I'm kind of wiggling a little bit just to stay on top of it. It makes it a little bit harder. Point those toes. Hollow out those abs. We're almost there. Give me a couple more. Let's do this one and this one. Let's do one more each side. Almost there. One more. What? And one more. Good. Pull them in. Good. Relax. Place those feet down. Lift up that tailbone. If you've got the ball, take it out. Lower it back down. Pull it in. Let's do a quick little stretch here. So let's roll over to one side. Let's roll over to your belly. So to stretch those abdominals, put your shoulders, elbows right underneath your shoulders. This way. There we go. Scoot this way so you can see me. There we go. All right. Elbows are under shoulders. And I'm going to press my chest through my arms. And I'm going to look up towards the ceiling. If you want to do a little bit more, you can come up onto those hands. Same thing. I want to press my chest through. I don't want my shoulders up. I want to push them down and press my chest through my arms, looking up gently towards the ceiling. And then I'm going to push it back into a child's pose, toes together, knees apart. Push the tailbone back. Reach. And pull it up. And that's a quick set of abdominals. If you are really interested in bar class, I highly recommend you get a Pilates sponge ball. That abdominal work, it turns into something completely different when you're using this ball. It's amazing. If you would like to check out more bar fitness, you can join me on Tuesday nights. I use YouTube Live to go live for class. And I also am starting up a Patreon page where you can pay a monthly fee to have access to all of my bar classes all of the time. And all of my barre classes do include a nice section of abdominals. So if you like this, be sure to check it out. Check out my Facebook page, Lisa Jean Belly Dance, and my website, www.lisajeanbellydance.com.